Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for Broadway World. One of Disney's most popular and successful films of all time, Aladdin, is coming to Broadway, where it will open on March 20th at the new Amsterdam Theatre. This stage version features music by Alan Menken, lyrics by the late Howard Ashman, additional lyrics and book by Chad Beglin, and it's directed and choreographed by Casey Nicholaw. And I caught up with the company during a break in rehearsal.
Well, the big idea was to return to its musical theater DNA, to what Howard and Alan first created, which was a big, broad, funny musical comedy. And so what we did is we began to investigate that and say, what could that be?
What was it like to audition for this role? I mean,
well, auditioning for Disney is always fascinating and challenging. And I went to the first audition, which was a very small room with two people in it, my accompanist and the casting director of the film. His name was Albert Tavares. And it was very simple. I sang a song, I read the copy, they'd sent me a picture of a preliminary drawing of what he looked like, so gave me some ideas to go on. And then months went by, I went to the callback, and I go into a room with about this many people in it, all Disney employees, I think. And I got up to audition, and they said, we just want you to do the same thing, just do the same thing you did last time. And then I saw everybody in the room go like this. Because they just wanted to hear the voice. You know, it had nothing to do with this, it had to do with this. And I didn't get what was going on. I was like 3 lines into my audition. I was like, oh, okay, now you can realize it. You know, so I had 2 dialogues going on in my head.
How excited are you two to be working on Aladdin?
I am ecstatic. I've lost my mind completely. I mean, you can't get bigger than this. This is pretty much all I wanted when I was a teenager. I'm on Broadway, I'm in a Disney show, and I'm playing my favorite Disney character. This is literally a wish come true. So I'm on top of the moon right now.
And he has lost his mind. I will second that, but in a good way, in a very good way.
So have you talked to him about what it's like playing a Disney character?
All the time. From the first moment I met the man, I talked his ear off about what it was like to be Jafar, what it was like, what the recording was like. Then I asked him about his Broadway career, I asked about his life. I'm so glad he didn't get sick of me. I'm so glad he was so embracing, he was so loving. So, it's been wonderful. Of course, I just totally went crazy. And then he is the first one to tell me about the fact that the late, great Howard Ashman wanted the genie to be like a Cab Calloway, Fats Waller type of person. So when he told me that, because when I came in, I told him, I said, I'm a little bit nervous about this, stepping into this role. And he said, you shouldn't be nervous. This is what they wanted. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so great to know. And I kind of let it go, because Robin Williams is one of my favorite people in the world. I have all of his albums, literally have all of his albums. And when he told me that, he's fantastic. But you can't step into those shoes. To try to recreate that would be absolutely stupid. So when he told me there was a different place to go, I felt secure, and I was like, okay, now I can go be my silly self and be totally fine with that.
And for you, take me back to the beginning. Playing a Disney villain, auditioning for that film. Take me back to that audition again when everybody had their head down or whatever. What was going through your mind and when you got it?
Well, I always wanted to play a Disney villain. As a kid growing up, I was attracted to Disney films. The colors, the music, everything that kids are generally attracted to. But I specifically love Disney villains. And there are a group of us out there. Not everyone wants to be a prince and a princess.
I'm with you on that.
And I was attracted to the sidekicks and the marginal characters, but mostly to villains because of their scale. So getting to audition was, first of all, fantastic, like a dream come true. Sounds kind of corny, but it's true. And then to have booked it, I couldn't believe what I had fallen into. And to this day, I'm still, look, it's been a long, I started work on it in 1991. It's been a long job. I've continued. I'm not really revisiting. I've been doing it, I do Disney on Ice. I've done game shows. Board games. Disney World has a new villains attraction, and I voice anything that they want me to. Because why not?
It's always screamed to be a Broadway musical, which I love, that it started off that way.
Yeah.
So what it's like taking the movie and adding some of these other little stories in there and characters. What it's been like working with Casey and Alan Menken and this whole process for each of you.
I think they waited till all the stars were in alignment, and they got everybody that they wanted. And it's a great marriage.
Well, they had to have somebody at the helm that knew, one, how to bring all those crazy personalities of that film together for a stage production. And Casey Nicola has that. I mean, there's this twinkle in his eye that lets you know that he gets it. He gets the joke, but he also gets the love in it. He gets the heart of the show. And so when he brought us all together, we saw it, and we all have it now. We're like, okay, we get it. But you needed that spark. You needed that to ignite everything else.
Like, take me back to the beginning of why you wanted to be a part of this whole thing.
Well, I mean, it's Aladdin, and it's Disney, and I loved the movie, and I love Disney, and there you go, and here I am.
Well, let's talk about this, because this is the film. It's based on some stories. Talk about the new stage adaptation.
Well, you know, originally it was conceived as a big musical theater, musical comedy, movie. It didn't end up going that way. It ended up being more action-adventure, so now it was about me being able to, with everybody's help, bring it back to be a big musical comedy again. And that's been really fun. Challenging in places, but really fun.
So take me back to this new story. Like, it's the movie, it's sort of the books. Talk about that.
Right. It's mostly the movie. It's just opened up, like anything you do on stage, it's opened up. Like, there's bigger dance numbers. There's, it's mostly about opening things up to those. We've added 6 songs that were cut from the movie that are really fun. There's some new characters. It's a blast. It's really a blast.
So let's talk about some of those characters that were originally going to be in the film, and they were cut out of the film.
They were originally going to be in the film as narrators, and then they ended up being cut, right? Then we put them back in as narrators, and then actually we've cut them since Toronto, so the characters are still in. They're now Aladdin's best pals, but they don't narrate anymore. It was just something that didn't work as well as we'd hoped, and so now we've streamlined the whole thing. It's really great.
So what did you learn from the first stops you did with the show on the road?
So many things, like almost too many things to mention, and so we went back in the studio. We worked our butts off for, the 2 months in between. We worked our butts off, and then the last 2 weeks getting back in the studio, we just worked really hard, clarifying things, making the characters stronger, working on the numbers, on some structure stuff. It's really been fantastic.
So tell me what it's been like working on Aladdin.
It's been really a dream come true. Aladdin's one of my favorite Disney titles, and when I first met with Alan, we were just going to do a straightforward adaptation of the movie, but he brought out all of these songs that he had written with Howard Ashman, who's my personal hero and why I wanted to be a writer in the first place. And he said, let's put these back in the show. And so it's been such a thrill to get to work with these beautiful songs that are not forgotten, but a lot of people don't know them. And to know they're going to have a second life is just really amazing.
So what people don't realize right now is this is a whole new stage adaptation. It's loosely based on the movie, right, with other stories added, a lot of new songs. Tell me about the structure of the show.
Well, the show is really, it's the story that you know from the movie, but there are new characters added. Aladdin has 3 friends that were originally cut from the movie that we put back, and they're hilarious. And the other thing that is really taking the show to a new level is Casey Nicola. When you see Friend Like Me, the show just stops because people just yell and scream and go crazy for it. It is a tour de force, and it's got every single different, there are a million different gags. There's so many wonderful moments. There might be some tap dancing. So it's really just stunning what he's done to the show.
I have to ask, because we get asked this all the time. We get asked about the carpet. How does it work? What does it look like? So I'm going to throw it to you, lady. Can you explain it? Can you give them a little bit, or what? What can you tell us about the amazing magic carpet here in our show?
You have to come see it to see what it really looks like. And when Adam and I were talking about it, he mentioned that people that have seen it, because we're up there, so we know what it feels like, but we don't know what it looks like. So we have to rely on other people to tell us what it looks like, and everybody thinks that it looks so beautiful. And it's really a moment that we have together, and I think because it's such a big moment in the show, I think it does exactly what it's supposed to. But Casey does some other things around us that I don't really see, but when I saw it in the rehearsal room for the first time, I I got like really emotional. It was kind of embarrassing, but
It's
yeah,
spectacular.
it was so beautiful. I could barely sing the song. It was tough.
What people don't know yet about A Whole New World is it's not just about, the magic carpet. It really is about them making a connection, them falling in love. And so, I mean, what Casey has done is really make it amazingly theatrical. What exactly is, your connection with it? What was it like the first time you saw it? What was it as a kid?
Well, I wore that movie out probably like all of us did. Aladdin was definitely my favorite character, my favorite Disney character growing up. He was the coolest character. I really loved I wanted to be like him. I remember, I think, going around grammar school and jumping off of benches and pretending I was running away from Rasul and the guards and just, I loved that movie, and I thought, I can't believe that I'm getting to play that role now. It's just an amazing, fantastic dream come true.
Broadway, welcome back to Broadway to both of you. And you're a dad now. How do you feel?
I couldn't be happier. I feel like everything is just sort of coming together for me right now, with the two boys being born 3 weeks ago, and then we're going to be opening the show soon. The stars are aligned. It's amazing. It's amazing. I can't.
Well, the stars are aligned for both of you. It must be so exciting to play Disney characters, a Disney prince and a Disney princess.
I know, it's so exciting. I'm not just playing it at like Orlando, just like dressed up in the costume. I'm actually playing it, and I get to sing all the iconic songs. It's really, really exciting.
So, growing up, watching these things, did you ever think, my gosh, this is one of my dreams to come to Broadway and play a Disney princess?
Oh, of course, but it was at the top. I mean, it was the type of thing that I thought would never in a million years happen, and it's actually happening, and it feels totally unreal. Yeah, it's so exciting.
You sing these songs?
I know. I mean, A Whole New World? Who doesn't know that song? Everyone knows that song, and I get to sing it, no pressure.
So you obviously remember the first time you sang it in the rehearsal room, like in front of Alan Menken. What was that like?
Oh my gosh, it's really scary, but you have to put aside that, the living legend of Alan Menken is sitting right there, like 2 feet away from you, judging you. No, I'm just kidding, he's not. But it's scary, but when you're in the moment, and thank goodness I have an amazing co-star that supports me through all of it, so I'm not an emotional mess always. But it's scary, but it's exciting, because, he loves it, and he loves the show, and it's his baby, and, seeing it brought to life, we love making him happy.
You're playing Aladdin.
I am.
How exciting is that?
It's fantastic. I never thought that this would happen. It was always a character that I loved watching the movie growing up, and I think just being here with Courtney and with this group of people, putting the show together, it's such an amazing cast. It really is. I think it's the best cast I've ever worked with. They create such a positive atmosphere to try things out. Casey, especially as a director, he likes to try new things, and he'll be the first one to say, "Oh, that was horrible," But then, we get to find the best things that work for the show and the storytelling of the show. So, I'm still sort of reeling that this is all happening. Yeah.
But I mean, talk about the beautiful songs you get to sing.
Yes. My favorite song that I get to sing is "Proud of Your Boy," definitely in the show. It's such a pulling at your heartstrings type of song, and I'm singing to my mother who's passed away, basically saying I'm going to fulfill that promise that I made to you, to become the person that I know that I can be. And he's struggling. He wants to become a better person, but he's just having problems, and his friends call him out on it. And so I get to sing this song, and it's sort of his motivation. It really brings him through the rest of the whole show. I think the audience gets to see, okay, that's Aladdin at his core. That's who he is, and then he ends up lying the whole show, and then hopefully, and at the end he discovers his true self, and that's the beauty of it.
Audiences have already fallen in love with the show. What has it been like playing this in front of an audience and listening to that reaction?
I think the audiences are thrilled, especially when they see the magic carpet. You get that audible gasp when the set pulls away and the carpet is revealed, and then you can hear them clapping along and during the overture and during the intermission and the entr'acte. And so I think audiences will get what they expect from the movie, but then there's so much more added to it that was either cut from the film or even new songs for the show. They're going to be pleasantly surprised at how much more depth there is. It's not just a cartoon; it's a full musical comedy that's brought to life on stage.
My final question is, what are you looking forward to the most with bringing Aladdin to Broadway?
Oh gosh, I think just hearing the audience, hearing them applaud for a friend like me, that just how excited they are, how excited you see the kids' looks on their face, and all of it. It's really great to feel the audience.
When I played Cinderella on the national tour, there were a lot of girls dressed up as Cinderella coming to see the show. So now, as Aladdin, I'm hoping there's some young little boys coming up dressed as Aladdin and coming to the stage door, and I can...